If you're concerned about Joe Biden's age, you probably don't know Joe Biden.
Biden is actually in good shape.
Right. Mentally, he's quite acute.
Any aide who engages with him or reporters, we can see this. The gears of his mind are working.
The right-wing media has so fixated on Biden and Biden purportedly having cognitive issues.
It's not just making an issue of Biden's age. It's lying. It's saying he's senile. It's saying he's demented. Saying he's out of it.
Russian television has been filled with speculation about President Biden's age, about his mental state of mind.
That's an issue pushed by right-wing media, but it's not correct.
Yeah, Republicans on the other side have spent 4 years almost kind of weaponizing Biden's age against him. Trump is not that much younger than him.
Biden is just a couple of years older than Donald Trump.
Why so much attention on Biden's age? Trump isn't much younger.
This whole vein is really, really unseemly. I mean, ageism.
I'm going to say quite bluntly, there is some ageism going on here.
Yeah, I think there is some ageism going on.
Biden's personal physician wrote that he, quote, remains a healthy, vigorous 80-year-old male.
He is a healthy, vigorous 80-year-old male.
He had a good physical. His doctor says he's vigorous.
The reality is nothing like the dystopian picture that the Republicans are trying to paint of this senile, doddering president, and he's as sharp as a tack.
As sharp as a tack, as sharp as the other end of attack, maybe not as sharp as the sharp end of attack, I would say. But there are parts of a tack that he is probably as sharp as you know, the end you push with your thumb. Hey, what's up? Yes. How are you doing? Good. Me too. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing my show. What are you doing? It's President's Day. Oh, I got a little something here. I should use my blemish protector. I can touch my appearance up with this program. If you guys want to know about it, you want to see it? I can show you. I can go touch up my appearance. There. See? It's very femme though. And I'm a masculine man. God bless you. Hey, everybody. George Washington, clean up your yard. It's your birthday, isn't it? Or President's Day was originally to celebrate George Washington's birthday. I would have sent off some packages that are overdue to go out, but post office is going to be closed today. You know, a lot of black people work at the post office. You guys heard that? I was listening to some statistics on racial segregation in jobs. Racial and sex-based choices that people make for jobs. Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, it's not all because of racism. It's because people choose to do particular jobs. So cool. That's cool, George. Martha's in the cellar stacking jars. Good. Yeah, when I actually thought you might be George Washington, like the AI version of it. But then you called into the show and you're not actually the real him. I've also listened to George Washington be channeled by a medium, which was very interesting. He was really into Freemasonry. So is Lafayette. Just listened to some history about Lafayette the other day. He got into Freemasonry, and that's what got him into the thing. My camera's moving. I don't know why. You can see the shirts over there, though. You see shirts over there. I got these set to go out. These are going out tomorrow to the post office. If you want to buy a shirt, go to truthclothing.io. If you want to support the show with cash money, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I have the news about the black kids who shot up the festival. They say you're racist if you bring it up. So I have like a racist portion of the show where we point out who the kids were. And their mugshots haven't been released. They're juveniles, right? So they're saying, but they are saying it's racist to say, okay. They are saying it's racist to say they're thugs. That's a dog whistle. So we got to be careful of our language. But yeah, I have that clip where the mayor calls the governor racist. Man, I keep getting calls from a no caller ID on my real phone. And I picked it up earlier and nobody was there. Sorry, I use my phone as my camera. So when the phone calls come in, it like bleeps out my face. So anyway, we're going to get into the news. I have Donald Trump's new sneakers. Assange is going to be on trial this week. The Australian government says they want him brought back to Australia. So I could show you that. That's at least interesting. And some journalists or some legal experts have weighed in that he shouldn't be extradited to the United States. So that's good news too. I have this story about male breast milk. That's way back in the lineup. So I have just like a bunch of tabs open with different video. I'm going to start with, I'll start with some stuff. Zuckerberg was at the UFC and people are making fun of him for standing around not knowing what to do. So I'll have that for you. I have the NYPD. I have the NYPD dance team. I have that for you. I have the new AI that can make moving video clips from OpenAI, which is pretty impressive. So I thought I should definitely show you that too. So that's all maybe going to happen on this show if I get to everything. And if you wanted me to cover a particular thing, just let me know. So, and keep it down with the racism. We'll keep it down in the chat. You know what I mean? Keep it civil. It's okay. We're going to talk about who the shooters were. And I'm going to play a clip of Ann Coulter talking about it. And then the one guy getting called racist. So I will start the show now. Okay. Cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. I was talking before I was live. Pirate X Pirate brought up a missing 11-year-old girl in Texas. We can talk about that. That is here in the news. A missing 11-year-old girl was supposed to show up for the bus and didn't show up. So the only trace in Audrey Cunningham's disappearance might be a red Hello Kitty backpack she was supposed to carry to school with her. The 11-year-old vanished after she left to catch the school bus Thursday morning in the small East Texas town of Livingston, about 70 miles northeast of Houston. Audrey never made it onto the bus, but a small backpack that likely belonged to a child was located near the Lake Livingston Dam. Now, a man was arrested for an unrelated aggravated assault case, is believed to be one of the persons of interest involved in the disappearance of Audrey, the sheriff's office said. But the girl's whereabouts remain a mystery. Yeah, cute white girl. That's what it always is when it's a national story. So, yeah, I'm not saying it that way. I'm just saying the missing children. Lots of children go missing, I believe, and rarely does it make the national news. But here, this story has made the national news. She was last seen around 7 a.m. Thursday near her home in Lakeside Drive. And the home is close to Lake Livingston, one of the largest reservoirs in the state with 83,000 surface acres. So there you go. 11-year-old missing in Texas from a small town, nonetheless. So, you said Pirate X Pirate, she had everything stacked against her from birth. Mom's an addict. Dad isn't a tar parent either and had a criminal roommate. Yeah, you always want to look close to home first. That's what I've learned from watching real crime on TV. It seems like everything has to do with murder, pretty much. Just finished watching the HBO series True Detective. It was only 6 episodes long this season. It was really good, kind of creepy and scary too at the same time. And there were suicide themes, which can be triggering for some people who think about that kind of thing. All right, I'll show you Zuck. People are just making fun of him for standing around here at the UFC. There he is. He looks like he wants to help. He doesn't know what to do. Lots of people made memes about it, saying he looks like the helpful intern there, or that he's the business guy at a hackathon. He's a venture capitalist adding value to portfolio companies. Okay, so there you go. That's no spoilers. World going to unite, no problem. I won't give you any. It was cool though. The way it wrapped up was kind of cool. Totally unexpected. Had no idea. So basically, everybody was killed by ghosts. That's my spoiler. Everybody was killed by ghosts. And there's proof. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to walk out into the unknown. That was the, oh, and they say time. Did you notice they use the swirl for every, I only watched the first season and the 4th season of True Detective, and each one used the pedo swirl as some kind of iconography. So here's the NYPD dance team. They could lose some weight. I know you're not supposed to be fat phobic, but why does the NYPD have a dance team? Man, people are so fat now. It's just totally normalized. I remember back in the day, like, you had to have an eating disorder to be on a dance team. When I went to college, girls were worried about being fat. So much so that they developed eating disorders, which were very destructive. I wonder what's worse. What is this? What is this? Wow, that's crazy. Now it's like, it's just different now. I wonder how college works, because I was in acting school. So you're supposed to look a certain way. People would get teeth veneers done before they graduated. They would get nose jobs before they graduated, so that when they hit the real world, they were perfect looking. Now I just wonder, everything's, I mean, nothing wrong with it. I don't care. I don't care if people are fat. Okay, I have people defending Joe Biden for a number of clips here. Here's Senator Amy Klobuchar, who says he's awesome too.
I was on Air Force One with the president going from Minnesota to Wisconsin, for going from Washington, D.C. to Wisconsin for an infrastructure project. And I was with the president for over an hour and talked about so many things, domestic, international. Amazing. He was focused. His recall was good. It was the same experience that my colleagues had who met with him for hours, Democrats and Republicans, about the Mideast only a few weeks ago. I was on.
Somebody says FJB in the chat, because I'm responsive to the chat. I was just going to show you, Trump dropped his sneak. Oh no, I'll show you more stuff about Joe Biden. Joe Biden has rarely appeared in front of the media. I remember when George W. Bush got pulled off, where he wouldn't show up to many things because he'd always say something stupid. So far, Biden has done 86 interviews here.
But one thing is for sure, they are apprehensive at best of putting him in the spotlight. And here's the proof. The difference is stark in the visibility here. When it comes to interviews, at this point in their presidencies, Obama did 422 interviews. Trump did 300. Biden so far, 86. But one thing is for sure.
86 interviews so far, and that's it. He turned down the Super Bowl interview, which is like the ultimate softball interview. So he's not really He's not, and then he keeps saying he's gonna show up for questions. Here he is, just walking, looking. Look at him. People say he looks like he's pooping his pants. Man, poor guy. It's really elder abuse. He looks like shit. Vladimir Putin came out and said he supports Biden over Trump. You guys see that? Vladimir Putin came out and supports Biden. I'll show you the clip. This is him saying that Biden has his shit together, actually, and that all the talk about him not having his shit together is over the top, believe it or not. And then we're supposed to believe Russia wants Trump to win. Sorry for the podcast. This is in Russian. 3 years ago, he met with them. 3 years ago. What does that mean? So, him hitting his head? I don't remember him hitting his head. Walking out of the helicopter? But he gives excuses for Biden. And on TV, on Russian TV, they made fun of Trump supporters too, which if it's state-run media, then that is strange. That the state-run media is allowed to make fun of Trump supporters. So that's him. That's Putin. So Putin supports Biden. So Putin's going to try to rig the election in favor of Biden this season. So here they're saying, according to the New York Times, Secret Service is now positioned at the bottom of the stairs, even though he takes the short stairs up to Air Force One now. So there he is. His Secret Service detail wait with them. He could fall. He could fall and die. Just having to walk upstairs. Too bad. He's still making it up. You can bet on him. He's actually come up in the odds a little bit. 42 cents now. Donald Trump at 47. All right. I have, I'll skip to the people. This is crazy. Trump announced new sneakers and this person says, "Oh, I love this." Trump is booed and the crowd chants, "Let's go Biden." Okay. Listen to what the crowd chants. Oh, sorry. I'll play it from the beginning. You hear that? This person says, "I love this." Trump is being booed and they're chanting, "Let's go Biden." Meanwhile, the shoes sold out. You can check them out on eBay. I was checking them out before the show. He sold some gold shoes. eBay. All right, eBay. I wonder why it didn't go to the website. That's weird. Trump sneakers. Oops. Trump sneakers. Some people are trying to sell them for a lot of money. There you go. So those are the Trump sneakers. They came out in this red version, which I think is $199. This white version, I think, is $199. And then people are trying to resell these golden shoes, which were a limited edition of 1,000 shoes, for $45,000. Somebody has it listed. Last one, it says pre-order. But then the next to it is one for $2,500. So it looks like the market price might be around $2,500. He's done good with limited edition stuff. He did NFTs first. Here's somebody trying to sell them for $1,000. So in a size 12. So maybe they're not going to hold their premium for much longer. But yeah, he did come out with shoes. These are the Red Wave. These are the 45, T45. And why the T45 actually look all right, kind of. POTUS 45. He should call it POTUS 47 if he's really confident. But this one has a bidder. Okay, so let's see. How do we know what the bid is up to, though? One bid. Somebody noticed. Current bid is 1,000. Oh, I see. So this is actually to bid. So that's actually a possible market price. $1,000 for a $400 pair of shoes. So he did it first with NFTs. Now he's doing it with sneakers. So limited edition. That's what's important. This show is limited. It's limited by the span of my life and my activities, whether I keep doing it. It's limited on whether you give me super chats or Cash App or buy me a coffee. If you can give me those, then it's less limited. So you're paying for it to continue. All right. So that's all the stuff about Joe Biden. Yeah, you heard him saying F Joe Biden, not let's go. I can't believe people think that. All right. Bitcoin's still doing well. Edward Snowden says Bitcoin is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oops. I got rid of the thing. Bitcoin's around 52,000. Still, ETH is really pumping. Edward Snowden says, unpopular but true, Bitcoin is the most significant monetary advance since the creation of coinage. If you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to try to convince you. Sorry. So that's that. There were feds, people say. I have video of that. I was going to show you the thing about Assange. Let's see if I have that. Yes, by the Australian. The Australians are calling. The Australian Parliament has passed a motion to get Assange back to.
Thanks so much for coming in to talk to us today. I want to first draw our viewers' attention to what's happened in the Australian Parliament. And Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has stepped in saying enough is enough. And he's calling on the US and the UK to release him and return him to Australia.
That's right. We've seen unprecedented political support shown in the Australian Parliament this week. It's been a position of this Prime Minister since coming to government that enough is enough. This case ought to be brought to an end and Julian Assange ought to be permitted to go home to Australia. But this week we saw a resolution passed in the Parliament, passed by 2/3 of the Australian Parliament, which is a reflection of the public support for Julian Assange at home in Australia, but also the support calling on the UK and the US to drop this case and to allow him to go home. So politically, there's a lot of political pressure. The Australian government has made representations to the US to drop the case and continues to do so. And we're working with them to try to seek a political resolution.
There you go. So that's his wife on Sky News talking about how the Australian government wants him to come home. There were also some people who wrote a letter, some legal experts signed a letter about Julian Assange. So trying to get him out of there. Yeah. If you ever think things are tough for you, just think how tough things are for Julian. Poor guy. He's been in solitary confinement. It's driven him crazy. So it must be incredibly difficult. So it's the most wrong thing ever, what they're doing to Assange, just for reporting on what other bad people were doing, like a journalist. So there you go. That's the story about Julian Assange. There were some Nazis. You guys have to decide if you think they're feds. Most people say they're feds. There's a guy who leads this group called Bones Face, who fought in Ukraine, who was recruited to fight for Ukraine. And they like Joe Biden. They prefer Joe Biden. Here they are, though. Nazis in Nashville, Tennessee.
Best you got! Best you got! Show me your fucking faces! Where's your face? Where's your face? Show me your face. I don't even know who you are. This is my face. Let's fucking go. You don't know my people. You don't know my people. You don't know my people.
Oh, I do. It's out India, bro. Y'all shit in the street, bro. You're shit. You to poop in the street.
Oh, you don't know that?
Oh, I do.
Where the fuck am I from?
Because you have shit on your skin.
You guys, where's your faces? Where's your show me your faces? Cowards! Cowards! All of you fucking cowards! Show me your fucking faces!
There you go. It
Where's
goes
your-
on for a while. So Pirate X Pirate says at least they're not wearing khakis this time. I think there are actual Nazis. Like, I do think there are actual neo-Nazis. I don't know if there are more than before. There might be. I think there are some. But yeah, certainly if you were a Fed, you would want to infiltrate these groups. So it's possible. You might think they're all Feds. Steve Cameron says Doge is pumping. Really? That's rare. Is Bitcoin pumping? Bitcoin was under 52 when the show started. Doge is pumping. I'll look it up. Just because you mentioned it. It's up 5%. You're right. It's on a little bit of a pump. Did Elon say something about it? Tuffy Coco says, is legit a banned word too? We don't ban words, I don't think. World Going Unite says they're not Feds. I don't know. I can understand probably why they cover their face. Speaking of, here's Charles Barkley talking about San Francisco during the All-Star game. Here, listen to this.
The 17 degrees.
Listen close.
Yes. If you had a chance of being cold or being around a bunch of homeless crooks in San Francisco, when you that's great. You're not welcome. They're not letting you in. You're not welcome. We love San Francisco. No, we don't. Yes, we do. You can't even walk around down there. Yes, you can walk around. Yeah, with a bulletproof bag and security. You live in Philadelphia. I live in Arizona.
It is very quiet. I could hear it, but you might not be able to. Let me look up. Let me see if I can give you a better. It's Charles Barkley talking about San Francisco. Let's see if this is any better. Nope, that one's quiet. He says, being around a bunch of homeless crooks. Would you rather be in the...
Okay. Hey, you know what's funny?
Yeah, it's all very quiet. All the recordings are very quiet. He says, would you prefer to be in the cold or to be in San Francisco around homeless crooks? Here's I'm going to get to the news about the shooters in Kansas City. So if you're tuned in for that, I'm going to get to that. I'm clearing out some of the news I have before that. Tucker Carlson was radicalized by the supermarket in Moscow. I haven't even watched this clip yet. Let me see.
I went from amused to legitimately angry. So we were guessing what this would cost. Everybody hears from the United States buys groceries, and we didn't pay any attention to costs as we were just putting in the cart what we would actually eat over a week. And we all came in around $400, about $400. It was $104 US here. And that's when you start to realize that ideology maybe doesn't matter as much as you thought. Corruption. If you take people's standard of living and you tank it through filth and crime and inflation, and they literally can't buy the groceries they want, at that point, maybe it matters less what you say or whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're wrecking people's lives in their country. And that's what our leaders have done to us. And coming to a Russian grocery store, the heart of evil, and seeing what things cost and how people live, it will radicalize you against our leaders. That's how I feel anyway, radicalized. We're not making any of this up, by the way, at all.
All right. So there you go. He's radicalized. I think, though, somebody fact checked it and said that actually Russians spend most of their money on food, and their buying power as far as the food goes is actually less. And it might seem cheap if you're American there with American money, but that it is actually kind of expensive for people in Russia. That's the fact check I saw, but who the hell knows? You guys want to see something? I can't say what this is caused by. I don't think he says it. There's a blood clot going around, a big blood clot, in case you haven't seen enough of them. I check my coffees. Go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil to support the show if you want to. I haven't gotten any coffees yet this show, so hopefully we'll have a few before the show is over. Thanks to the somebody I won't dox for sending me the Cash App. You can also support there by going to $LTV411. I try to do my best. Give you guys a good show. So if you want to show some love, that'd be great. Looking for one member at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil per show. If I can get it, one member per show. You can just join for $5 a month or what have you, and it supports the show on an ongoing basis. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. This blood clot, I can't say what it's caused by. I'm just saying they're finding these in people. I don't think he's going to say the reason.
Oh no, there it is.
Oh man, it's so gross.
Pulling it.
This is the jugular vein.
Try to pull this out.
This is going around Twitter, so I got to show you.
It broke.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's good. All right, hold on. I'm going to show how stretchy this stuff is.
Nope.
I've already squeezed it.
So that's in people's
Very much
veins
like a rubber band.
and arteries.
Compare it to the size of your hand or your finger, so you can see.
That's from a dead person.
Blood in here.
As you were asking. And by the way, in France, they're making it illegal to criticize mRNA. They say it'll be punishable in the future. You could go to jail. They're calling it Article Pfizer, where they're going to make it a criminal offense in France to criticize what they call appropriate medical treatment, including the mRNA jabs. So Seven Sun says we saw this a year ago. Yeah, we saw it in the Died Suddenly documentary, I believe it was called. I try to stay away from talking about anything medical on here because, of course, what the government says about the shots is correct. But I can show you some real things, I think. Pretty gross, right? To think that that's inside of people. Trump got hit with a $355 million fine. I showed you some of the Fani Willis case. He got hit with a $355 million fine. And they started a GoFundMe for $355 million. Grant Cardone's wife set it up. So, and it's raised like $200,000 so far. So people support Trump. It is insane. And it would drive people out from doing business in New York. And they're thinking about a trucker protest. Although I saw that guy apparently, the guy that said he's going to do a trucker protest apparently retracted what he said because it blew up way bigger than he expected. But I could show you that. He was talking about him and other truckers denying taking loads to New York City. Here's Kevin O'Leary talking about it, saying it's an assault on real estate.
This award, I mean, just leaving the whole Trump thing out of it and seeing what occurred here, and I'm no different than any other investor. I'm shocked at this. I can't even understand or fathom the decision at all. There's no rationale for it. And so let me give you a real-time experience I'm having regarding this, and I'm not the only one. It doesn't matter what the governor says. New York was already a loser state. Like California is a loser state. There are many loser states because of policy, high taxes, uncompetitive regulation. It was already on the top of the list of being a loser state. I would never invest in New York now, and I'm not the only person saying that. And here's a real-time situation. In development in real estate right now, the hottest asset class is very high-end data centers. They cost anywhere from $2.5 to $3.5 billion each. They're very expensive. They require low power. You need permits. But most of the major institutions in the world need more data centers, and that's why developers like me are doing this. Now, you need power. So New York has Niagara Falls. Normally, you'd consider that to put in one of these facilities, create 400 jobs, 5 more jobs for each of one of those for auxiliary services. I can't go to New York. So I'm going to Oklahoma, North Dakota, West Virginia. Governor Stitt, Kevin Stitt, my staff have met with him. Governor Bergen, the same thing. Governor Justice. Those are winner states. They don't do things like this. I have to syndicate that debt and all that equity. We're talking billions of dollars here. Do you think any foreign institution or any private equity firm or any pension fund would touch New York? No. And that's why New Yorkers should be concerned. The fine people of New York should ask themselves, why are we such a loser state? How are we going to attract business? It's not just the existing businesses that are fleeing out to Texas and Florida. What about new money like this that I'm talking about, like a $4 billion data center? Not a chance I would put that in New York. Zero probability, never. And so they've got a lot of work to do to find themselves getting out of this situation. This has all occurred post-pandemic. Winner states versus loser states. Look at Tennessee right now, fastest growing city in America, Nashville. Winner state, good policy, competitive taxes. You've got to start thinking about this in the context.
Oops. Sorry. Sorry. I tried opening another tab and ran into failure. This should continue. I believe it's longer than this. Yes.
Some winners and losers. New York, mega loser
There you
state.
go.
So, Kevin, what did you think of Governor Hochul saying this is like a unique one and done because Donald Trump went too far and was so nefarious?
Yeah, the
You
governor
guys, if
came
you're
out
just
and
doing
said,
what
"Oh
you should be
no,
doing."
this is going to be the only time we're going to do it," which just proves that it was a setup to target Donald Trump because they're like, "Oh, this is because he inflated the value of his real estate portfolio, which they had to review, and then he paid back the loans with interest, and they'd be happy to loan him more money." Yeah, Kathy Hochul came out and said, "Oh yeah, this is just a one-time thing."
Be doing, you have nothing to worry about, but they're very worried about it.
Yeah, we're very worried. Every investor is worried because where is the victim? Who lost money? This is some arbitrary decision a judge made. This policy and what this says, what does this say about the bar, the legal bar in New York? Aren't they going to question this judge? What is this? $355 million and there's dollars as a penalty and there's plus interest at 9% and there's no victim? I mean, I'm sorry, her words fall on deaf ears to everybody. There's nothing she can say to justify this decision. And this has nothing to do with Trump. Nothing to do with Trump. Forget about Trump. This is not a Trump situation. This is a New York problem now. The whole world is looking at this saying, what are you doing to yourselves?
True.
Well put, Kevin. Always good chatting with
There
you,
you
Kevin.
go. There's Kevin O'Leary saying New York is a loser state now, which it is. Your estimate of the value of your assets cannot be fraud. So he's going to appeal it, but he has to put up like 1/10 of the money, I think, just to appeal it. So, all right, now I'll show you the stuff from Kansas City. The racist part of the show is going to start now. These are the guys. So let's see here the video. It says it's going to play an ad.
I feel like royalty.
This is the real deal.
Okay, I could turn that ad on, ad off, the sound at least. The Family Stallone, your next streaming. Here you go. So here's video of it. There they are. So there's the guys. And then there's guys behind these two. There. Okay. So it's right over their shoulder. Right there. That guy. So that's one of the suspects. And they're saying, you know what people are saying. They're like, oh, because the suspects are black, they're not covering it in the news. And some of the victims too. There he is. So that's the view from TMZ. And I guess he starts the fight here. And it's maybe got to pull out a gun. So I should say young scholars. Yeah, scholars. That's what people say. That's a dog whistle or something, right? I get very sensitive about talking about this stuff, even though like you should be able to admit certain facts like percentages and things like that. But they say the media doesn't cover it. Yeah, the media doesn't care that much about black crime. It seems like. I'll play you what Ann Coulter said about it on Bill Maher's show.
I mean, we don't know who did this shooting, by the way, the Super Bowl shooting.
We have some idea.
What?
If it were a white man shooting, we'd know.
Well, we don't know, but they haven't.
That's how we know it's not a white man. I can tell you that much.
Do you think they were repressing that reporting?
They wouldn't tell us about the transgender woman that shot up the Christian school for what, like a year? San Bernardino out here. Remember the crazy terrorist Muslims? That's when I first noticed, they're not telling us who it is. It's not a white male. The longer they go without telling you, it's not a white male.
Okay, well, for this one, for right now, as of Friday night, February 16th,
we know.
We don't officially know. Okay, you have special powers. But I mean, we don't know who did.
The audience was made very uncomfortable by that. I'll play you what else she said was that it's the illegitimacy of black people not having fathers that creates the problem. So she said that on Bill Maher also. Oops. Hold on. I'll show you this. There we go. I got to change screen.
Media who do not care about blacks killing blacks. And this is the one time where I think, you always hear pretty white girl, they'll cover that. No, the blacks killing blacks will not get covered by the media. That's a huge media problem. And you'll all laugh at me, but I'm going to say it because I'm right.
Very right.
Because of this
Far right.
is illegitimacy. All of these young men do not have fathers. And that is a huge, huge source of it. Anything that could be done to reduce the illegitimacy rate, particularly among the black community, it would be astronomical, the changes you'd see. Do you know, just one fact, if you take away the factor of illegitimacy, the difference in the black and the white crime rate disappears. It's an amazing fact.
It would be an amazing fact if it were true, but the
audience is liberal.
Well, it is a big part of it.
Listen, I've got two very small children. I've got my eye on this problem a lot. I'm trying to raise black kids here in Los Angeles. I'm not a part of the pro-crime lobby.
Yep. I had somebody brings up a good point. How do they get all the guns? And is it from white people? It's possible. There are stories, in Chicago, there have been stories forever about crates of guns being left in alleys for black kids to pick up because somebody says that they don't talk about gun laws because most of the guns are illegal that are used in those shootings. So yeah, people don't respect gun laws necessarily if they're criminals trying to kill people. So that's a good point too. I have you don't want to call them thugs. Cultural people say lots of things. They say like cultural enrichers, future astronauts. That's some of the racist stuff I see out there. But people say, instead of using the word thugs, they'll say things like that. Cultural enrichers, that's what they use for migrants or illegal aliens. There's so many words you're not allowed to use. You're not allowed to use the word thug. So I'll play. Oh, this is another statistic. I don't even know if it's true. It's posted by Ian Miles Chong. That Minnesota homicides were 72% black and only 28% the remainder of the population, even though blacks only make up 6.4% of the population. So that's true. It's something to think about. Don't call them thugs though, because you'll be called racist. And yeah, they might, if they're juveniles, I understand them not releasing the mugshots, I think. Even TMZ didn't release the mugshots. They just released the video they had.
He's going to join us later on in this program. After the shooting, he said, we can't let some thugs and criminals just take over and ruin what happened. I gather that's not quite your assessment of what happened that day.
I have respect for the governor. We get along well. I disagree strongly with how he would describe that situation. I certainly do think this was criminal activity. It was lawlessness, and I think that that's troubling. But thugs is a dog whistle in the most classic sense. And I have seen this dog whistle time and again. There's this kind of giant conservative theory on social media now that the reason that mugshots haven't been shown is because the purported defendants are black. And if it were a white defendant, we would have just shown them. That is absolutely preposterous. There are protections to juveniles. Our city has a gun violence problem.
He's going to join us later on.
So there's the clip. That's from the mayor saying that saying thug is a dog whistle because the governor referred to them as thugs. I don't know if they're violent criminals. It can certainly be applied to white people too, if they're violent criminals. But anyway, yes, words are not safe. You cannot use certain words without being called a racist. So did you see this? I have statistics on police shootings. This is from a black professor at Harvard who did statistical analysis and said that they don't find racial bias. He didn't find racial bias.
Collected a lot of data. We collected millions of observations on everyday use of force that wasn't lethal. We collected thousands of observations on lethal force. And it was in this moment in 2016 that I realized people lose their minds when they don't like the result. So what my paper showed, you'll see tomorrow, like some of you, was that, yes, we saw some bias in the low-level uses of force, every day pushing up against cars and things like that. People seem to like that result. But we didn't find any racial bias in police shootings. Now, that was really surprising to me because I expected to see it. The little-known fact is I had 8 full-time RAs that it took to do this over nearly a year. When I found this surprising result, I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it to make sure. They came up with the same exact answer, and I thought it was robust. And I went to go give it, and my God, all hell broke loose. It was a 104-page dense academic economics paper with a 150-page appendix, okay? It was posted for 4 minutes when I got my first email. This is full of shit. Doesn't make any sense. And I wrote back, how'd you read it that fast? That's amazing. You are a genius. And I had colleagues take me to the side and say, don't publish this. You'll ruin your career. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what's wrong with it? Do you believe the first part? Yes. Do you believe the second part? Well, the issue is they just don't fit together. We like the first one, but you should publish the second one another time. I said, let me ask this. If the second part about the police shootings, this is a literal conversation. I said to them, if the second part showed bias, do you think I should publish it then? And they say, yeah, then it would make sense. And I said, I guarantee you I'll publish it. We'll see what happens. So it was, you know, I lived under police protection for about 30 or 40 days. I had a 7-day-old daughter at the time. I remember going and shopping for it because, you know, when you have a newborn, you think you have enough diapers, you don't. So I was going to the grocery store to get diapers with an armed guard. It was crazy. It was really, truly crazy.
It's crazy. See, some information is just not safe. It is weird living in a world like that, where if you say that, then they think you're racist. And then even if you're a black guy that says it, then all of a sudden you need police protection. So curious who was threatening his life and stuff. So just for saying there is no police bias, yes, more black people get killed by police disproportionately, but they're also disproportionately involved with police and disproportionately involved in things like violent crime. So you have more encounters with police, and that's why. I saw somebody give me a coffee. Thank you. God bless you. We're still open for the rest of the show. Thanks everybody who's tuned in. We got a few people here today. Thanks Kay Bright for the coffee, who says, thank you for giving us the news. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right. So, this is good. Rachel Levine, this is insane. This is really insane. So this is Rachel Levine talking about climate change and how it impacts the mental health of Black communities disproportionately. So we're to blame so climate change is racist, and that's like accepted as a fact too. Climate change is racist. Here, I'll play it.
Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. This Black History Month, I'm pleased to partner with OMH in advancing better health through better understanding for Black communities. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities. Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change. Visit hhs.gov for more information and tune in next Thursday to hear from another HHS leader on how you can contribute to advancing better health for Black communities.
For
So
more
there's-
information, visit hhs.gov/black-history-month.
Oh my God,
Produced by the US
really?
Department of Health and Human Services.
Wow. There really is a department, an Office of Climate Change and Health Equity. It's the OCCHE. The White House, the Office of Climate Change and Health Equity addresses the impact of climate change on the health of the American people. We pay for that. We actually pay people to do that. That's pretty insane. I mean, we pay our taxes and it supports a government that does that. That's pretty insane. So, and it's because people are stressed out about climate change. All right. Do you guys see the new video creation? I'll show you. This is an example of how it used to be 1 year ago. Text to video. So they had pictures of Will Smith scarfing down pasta, which actually is pretty funny. So that was created. That was created by AI. It's funny. A year ago. There's no sound on it. Okay. And then this is now created by AI. So this is supposed to be, this is the newest thing created by AI. Let me blow it up. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. So this is created by AI. The guy's face still looks messed up. Doesn't look perfect. But the cat is pretty good. So that's created apparently by AI. So that's the advance in 1 year between this and that. There's a bigger video of it. They're not mixing sound with the video, but we are approaching the singularity. Here's another video. Now this is pretty amazing. You type in something, and this was like a Japanese town with couples walking, etc. Let me show you. This is all generated by AI, apparently. So as long as you don't see the faces, that probably helps. But this is this video, which looks super real. The hair is moving really well. The camera is panning through. There's blossoms. There's snow falling. So there you go. That's some of the video from this new, from OpenAI. All right, let's see what else I have for you. I have some economic news. We just had the largest increase of population in history, mostly from immigration, not from people having babies. So last year, apparently, we had the largest 1-year increase in population in U.S. history. We are giving people free money. And then there's all these Chinese people at the border. Here's video of Chinese people at the border.
China. China? You speak English? Anyone speak English? China. China? You speak English? No English. It's all China. It's all China. China. It's all China. Come to America. Whole line of people.
So I don't know why they're coming here, but people are saying we're going to have a terrorist attack. Well, they come here for the free stuff. Let's see if I have that. Let's see. Free stuff. I had some video on that. Oh, I have more AI videos. You want to see those? I show you a little more AI. Here's one with cats and a giant king cat. So this is the video of a church full of cats, and then he's got a bowl of milk, which he's giving to the giant. It's a pretty funny video. No sound yet. Wow, really interesting. That's AI generated, the entire thing from text. I like that big cat. So yeah, that's some of the sort of video. Do I have more? Oh, there's more. There's this guy walking, liquid guy walking through an art gallery, and the art stays the same when he walks past it. I don't know. When you can put a screenplay in, it is going to disrupt Hollywood. Here's a guy who's winning the state title. This guy won the state title in the female high jump. I don't know. This stuff with these competitions, it seems like it's only going to be a matter of time. He won with a height that's 10 inches lower than the best boys can jump in the boys category. They say breast milk from trans women, which is men, is as good as regular breast milk. You can take hormones, apparently. Breast milk produced by men who transition to women is as good for babies as milk from a genetic female, according to British health researchers. They say it's comparable. You have to take a combination of drugs and hormones, and they call it chest feeding now. You guys seen the new movie, The War on Children? You should check that out. Apparently, it's only going to be free for a limited time. You should check out The War on Children. Elon Musk retweeted it yesterday. Check out our shirts at truthclothing.io. That's another way you can support the show. I'm delivering some packages tomorrow. There's the Nassim t-shirt, famous. Truthclothing.io. You can get one of these propaganda t-shirts or hoodies or long sleeve shirts, baseball jersey. Comes in many different styles. You can get a question everything shirt. Looks like that. And yes, the model is very handsome. Check that out at truthclothing.io. Pick up a t-shirt. We have lots of styles on there. They're all awesome. So check those out, truthclothing.io. All right. And now there is some stuff with the stock market. It's closed today, but people are starting to talk about stock market crash. insiders are selling their stocks at a record rate. I have a video of that I'll listen to here. Apparently, politicians and billionaires are selling stocks, even though we're at all-time highs.
Politicians and billionaires have started selling off all their stock.
Senator Tuberville just dumped a huge amount of his portfolio this month, and I mean huge. Out of the 61 trades he made over the last month, 59 of them were sales. Tuberville isn't just your regular congressman. When it comes to trading, he has one of the best records in Congress, right next to Nancy Pelosi. Maybe one of the reasons behind this performance is the crazy amount of Senate committees that he's on.
If you somehow don't know who Quiver Quantitative is, they track the politicians' trades. They have a website. They're one of the best resources you can go to if you want to know what's going on in the stock market and the world. And he points out how Tommy Tuberville sits on a ton of congressional committees that give him insight into what's happening with commodities, rural development, food and nutrition, military action. You can go to quiverquantitative.com and look for Tommy Tuberville, and it'll show you all the data on all of his different trades across the years, whether they're buys or sells, what industries they're in, and you can see what we're talking about here. In February, he sold off huge amounts of stock in every single industry. Just this February, Jeff Bezos has also sold another $2 billion of Amazon stock, and he's up to $6 billion in sales. Mark Zuckerberg is doing the same thing. This is where the SPY is currently at. This is an index that tracks the top 500 and so companies in the market. This was the year 2000, and this was the year 2008, those bubbles. But economists want you to believe that this is not a bubble, that this was the crash and we're recovering and it's all good. Except all the insiders, the richest people in the world, the politicians, for some reason think that this is a really good time to sell all of their assets. We also recently discussed how Bloomberg did a study where they showed that media mentionings of soft landings is actually a reverse indicator for soft landings. The yellow is where we've had major recessions, and news coverage of the possibilities of soft landings spikes before major collapses. And this is what it's at today. We've also discussed how regional banks are in big trouble again, and how the emergency bailouts from 2023's banking collapse end 1 year later, this March. That is in, what, 12 days? So if I had a bunch of open trades in the stock market now, I would be pulling a Tuberville and getting the fuck out of this bubble. Fortunately, I don't, because the only stock I'm holding right now is GameStop, and all my shares are directly registered. So if something goes crazy in the market, I'm good.
There you go. So that's some guy talking about how we're in a bubble. Who knows? I think we certainly could be. Job openings are down. I have that. Total job openings are down. And that's going to wrap up the show for me today, you guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I will check before I wrap up. I will check to see if anybody else. Pirate X Pirate says ETH is breaking out. That's good. ETH is really on a rampage. So crypto, Ethereum, what is it, up to 3,000 yet? Yeah, 2967. Yeah, it's really pumping. So, yep, keep an eye on your cryptos, everybody. 2961 now Ethereum is at. All right. Cool. I'll check my coffees one last time. You can support me anytime, and I'll read it on the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. My plan is to be back tomorrow at the same time. That's it. Just one coffee for the show today. That is down from my goal of at least 6 coffees. So if there's, thanks Jacob's Ladder for the tip over on Rockfin. Super appreciate it. Thanks for the $10. Appreciate it, Jacob's Ladder. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.